Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and a happy new year to all of our viewers. There are a few events before Christmas last year we did not get a chance to cover, so it is back to work for us to make sure none of you miss any of the important news in the world of Australian immigration. This program is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in Sydney, the company I founded now more than 26 years ago. First up is the important news for those on working holiday visas in Australia. It was planned that the 6 months working for one employer was to be reintroduced today, but at the last minute the Immigration Minister decided to extend that exception, but only in a limited set of circumstances. Working holiday makers can work for the same employer in Australia for more than 6 months without asking permission if the work meets one of the following criteria: in different locations, and work in any one location does not exceed 6 months, in plant and animal cultivation anywhere in Australia, in certain industries including aged care and disability services, fishing and pearling, tree farming and felling, construction and mining in Northern Australia only, natural disaster recovery work in critical sectors including agriculture, food processing, health, aged and disability care and childcare anywhere in Australia, and in the critical sector of tourism and hospitality anywhere in Australia. For any other situations not covered above, working holiday makers must ask for the permission to work longer than 6 months with the one employer. Now, there are further explanations on the Immigration Department website, so those who are thinking about working for more than one employer for more than 6 months, be sure you read them all very carefully. It did not take long after our last news program regarding the future direction of the migration strategy for the state and territories to meet with the Immigration Minister and express their concerns. Clearly, it has not been a good year for the regional areas with the dramatic cuts to their migration program numbers, and then concern about where this migration strategy is going to leave them with the skills shortages they are currently suffering. At the end of the meeting with Andrew Giles, they all agreed on a joint statement of cooperation and support for the migration strategy, no doubt under the promise that their individual state and territories will be getting a fair share of the pie of new migrants in the future. Well, certainly there's more transparency needed after this year's allocation fiasco. The minister went on to say, ministers also welcomed opportunities for jurisdictions to work closely with the Department of Home Affairs to consider revitalised state migration plans as a possible means of implementing a revised nomination allocations approach. So in other words, all this means is that before the minister gives the states any allocations for the next financial year, he will want to see revised state migration plans that will reflect the new migration strategy. He goes on to say, ministers discuss the range of visa categories to address skills shortages and improve economic outcomes. So in other words, the states and territories know they will have the same 190, 491 and 494 visas as last year. No doubt this meeting was timed to appease the states and territories by announcing the implementation of the new Priority Processing Direction number 105. Essentially, this new minister direction is the same as the last one, and the following visas listed are affected by this new Priority Processing Direction: the 124, the 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, 191, 482, 489, 491, 494, 858, 887 and 888 visas. The minister's direction did outline that the offshore applications will no longer receive a priority by themselves, and the following employer-sponsored visas will receive the top priority where any occupation will be carried out in a regional designated area of Australia. That is the 186 visa, the 187 visa, 482 visa, and 494 visa. Now, the following occupations will receive priority processing regardless of the visa subclasses: all health professionals under ANZCO Sub-Major Group 25, which include occupations within these minor groups. Then you have two more minor groups, firstly the school teachers listed here, and then health and welfare support workers listed here. Then there are the unit group occupations of childcare centre managers, medical scientists, counselors, psychologists, social workers, and medical technicians. And finally, the individual occupations of school principal, childcare worker, aged or disability carer, nursing support worker, and personal care assistant. Unfortunately, on the 21st of December, the Immigration Department made a new legislative instrument which limits the number of 476 visas that will be granted this financial year. In the explanatory statement released by the government, it states the purpose of this instrument is to determine that the maximum number of subclass 476 visas that may be granted in the 2023-24 financial year is 3,735. As the application is taken not to have been made, any visa application charge that was paid in respect to the application will be returned to the applicant. This is devastating news for many of those who have been waiting years for their visas to be processed. We are not sure when this 3,735 figure will be reached, but whenever it is, many of you will receive an email notifying of you that your application no longer will be considered. The last time something like this happened was in September of 2015 when they capped and ceased thousands of applications in the old 175-176 PR visas. Many of those applicants too had been waiting for years already and spent significant amounts of money in preparation to lodge their applications. It is also likely that the 476 visa will not feature in the new migration review strategy, and thus not open again for applications. However, we will have to wait and see how that pans out. Now let's take a look at the processing times for the beginning of the year and keep an eye on them during 2024. I forgot to mention before that with the new Minister's Priority Processing Direction, offshore applicants will no longer have priority over onshore applicants. Now the figures we put here tonight were actually released on the 14th of December last year, and we are taking the median processing figure, for as the department told us last year, this is more an accurate representation. The 189 visa is 11 months. The 190 visa is also 11 months. The biggest winner is the 491 visa, which is now down to 9 months. The 191 visa is just 22 days, clearly the fastest PR application out there. The remaining 489 visa applicants, when really there should not be any left, is at a steady 44 months. Now why that is just beyond imagination. The 887 visa is now just 72 days, the 300 visa is at 11 months, the 309 visa is 10 months, the 820 visa is 6 months, and finally the 1AA Business Innovation Stream is at 31 months. Well, as far as readers' comments go, there have been so many regarding the disappointing limit on the 476 visa that I'm not going to single out just one. My heart goes out to all of you who will suffer when your applications are ceased. In relation to the graduate 485 visa 35 years of age limit goes, I know so many of you have written in. Rest assured we will not rest until we obtain confirmation that the department has given assurance that all of you currently studying will not be affected when such a plan comes into effect. Clearly, this 35 years of age limit should only be applied to those who start their courses after any official time frame is given. Stay tuned on this topic. Well, we are looking forward to another year of bringing you the latest news, and I will also try to find time to bring you more interesting topics about visa requirements. As always, we are here to help if you need assistance. You can book a consultation by visiting our website, but if you cannot find a space, give us a call to see if we can squeeze you in for any urgent meetings. Our delightful receptionists Pat and Hay are real people who answer the phones. Have a wonderful new year, and as always, take care out there, and I will see you next time. So bye for now.